So the Agatha show just had its 2-episode finale, and it actually had some crazy twists and reveals that we need to talk about. So in this video, I want to break down the ending of the Agatha show in a way that only a lifelong nerd can. And I also want to explain where we go from here, because I do believe things from this show will end up being relevant in Avengers Doomsday, in Secret Wars, and then in the Mutant Saga. So the last 2 episodes of Agatha actually present kind of a weird formula in which there's a lot of action and conflict in episode 8, and then there's a lot of resolution in episode 9. Episode 9 has more closure, and it sets the character of Billy and Agatha on a really interesting journey, which we're going to get to, but the focus on episode 8 is the conflict between Death and Agatha and Billy. Now, the overall massive reveal that is hanging over this whole show is the fact that Billy Kaplan actually created the Witch's Road. The Witch's Road was never real. But in episode 8, this conflict surfaces because Death realizes that Agatha was tricking her. Agatha was distracting Death from realizing what Billy actually was. Billy is an abomination. He is upsetting the balance between life and death. And it's here where we get some really interesting tidbits about the MCU version of Wiccan. Billy seemingly cannot die. It's said by Death that she cannot take him. If she did, he would just find another body. It's also revealed that Billy has the ability to take his brother's soul from Death and find a body to place him in, which he actually does do in episode 8. And there's actually a really interesting sort of triangle of motivations that are happening with these characters. I mean, Billy Kaplan just wants to bring his brother back to life. Death wants Billy because Billy can disrupt the balance and he's throwing off this whole cosmic thing that she has going on. But she would need Billy to sacrifice himself, to willingly present himself to Death in order for that to happen. But Death also has strong feelings for Agatha. She loves Agatha. She wants Agatha to join her and basically be dead. And then there's Agatha, who obviously has a soft spot for Billy. This is further explored in episode 8 and 9. It's basically that Billy reminds Agatha of her son, Nicholas. So Agatha clearly has a soft spot for both Death and for Billy, but she's also Agatha. She's been around for hundreds of years, and she has her own motivations. She wants power, and she wants to survive. Now, this leads to a really cool magical fight between Death and Agatha and Billy. Billy in his full-on Wiccan costume, which I thought was cool. I actually do hope it gets a little bit more of a work. Like, I kind of want the cloak to be a little more Doctor Strangey, but that's being nitpicky. He did look good as Wiccan. Wiccan gives some of his power to Agatha. Agatha gets her power back. They're both fighting against Death, but they realize that it's futile. You can't fight against Death. Now, initially, Billy offers himself up as a sacrifice, saying, "Take me instead of Agatha." And then Agatha kind of has this flip where she's like, "Hey, here you go, Death. Take him. It's all good. I'm out of here." But then we hear Wiccan say telepathically to Agatha, "Is this what happened with Nikki?" referencing her son, Nicholas. Now, this actually causes Agatha to have a change of heart, and she goes back to Death and literally takes a kiss of Death. Potentially, she takes some of Death's powers here, but is ultimately killed. And at the end of episode 8, we get revealed that Billy created the road. He Kaiser Sosa'd this thing, basically just taking a bunch of stuff from his room and making that manifest on the Witch's Road. Now, this is an absolutely insane level of power. This is reality manipulation, much like Wanda. And it seems like both Wanda and Wiccan have the ability to warp reality and have the ability to upset cosmic balance. They can do stuff that's seemingly impossible. It also, of course, makes Billy a murderer, or at least guilty in putting other people in danger through his sort of like trauma. In the beginning of episode 9, we get a backstory of Agatha and her child. We understand that Death was ready to take Nicholas during childbirth, but ends up giving Agatha some time with him. And we see that Agatha and Nicholas just roamed around the world, taking advantage of witches, killing witches, so that Agatha could get more power. In fact, the whole idea of the Witch's Road is a concept that they made up together to get witches to be attracted to them, so that then they could take the power. Now, Nicholas ultimately is killed in his sleep, so you can see this sort of tragic thing that's happening here. Death trying to be kind to Agatha, giving her more time with her son, who was again supposed to die in childbirth, but it's still just not good enough. I mean, there's no way that Agatha's okay with this. She's super hurt by the loss of her son, and we get a crazy montage of Agatha getting witches to join her coven to go to the road over the centuries, and she keeps doing the same thing that she was going to do to this group in episode 1, or I guess episode 2 of the Agatha show. And we kind of see through Agatha's perspective what it was like to watch Billy actually create the road. And basically Agatha knew the entire time that the road was not real and that they were walking through a creation of Billy's, and her sole thing here was just to get power, to end up taking the power from the witches or maybe from Wiccan himself. But it's also complicated because she does see that there's similarities between Billy and her son Nicholas, this sort of urge to be good, this way of seeing Agatha in a positive light when nobody else does that. But the thing that's crazy and ironic here is they both cheat death again. Like, death wanted Agatha or she wanted Billy, and she was willing to stop pursuing Billy in that moment to get Agatha through death, to get Agatha to be with her Mistress Death. But we see in episode 9 that Agatha is a ghost. She's not actually in the realm of death. She's out there with the living. She can't actually face her son in the afterlife, and so therefore she's hanging around as a ghost. I think that means Death is probably feeling cheated once again and is going to continue to come after Agatha and probably to come after Billy. And it seems like with Agatha's help, Billy did actually take the soul of Tommy and put him into another boy, right? This boy is going to have a rough time. There's nobody to love him, and he's really alone. So he is actually resurrected into a body with a much more difficult family situation than even Billy Kaplan. By the way, I think Death will also be super pissed that that happened, that Tommy is out there and he's alive. So what does this mean for the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Well, I think the obvious thing that they're building is the reuniting of the Maximoff family. I think Agatha and Billy will go out and find Tommy. We've heard that that show is being developed. I don't know if that will end up being the Vision Quest show or if they are coming up with a different show in which those characters will go find Tommy Maximoff. But we also know that RDJ Doctor Doom is on the way, and there are big rumors that Doctor Doom is going to have a relationship with Wanda Maximoff. So it is very possible that Wanda is with Doctor Doom right now, because Doctor Doom is a very powerful magic user. He is technically more powerful than Wanda Maximoff. He is more powerful than Stephen Strange, and I believe he will be even more powerful than even Billy Kaplan. That appears to be something that they are kind of building up with this whole magical side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Wanda being with Doom is a part of the Children's Crusade run when Tommy and Billy Kaplan in the comics are out there looking for their mother. They find her in Latveria. She's about to marry Doctor Doom. So while we don't know exactly how all of that is going to fit together, I believe in Doomsday, you might have a subplot of Tommy, Billy, Agatha, maybe Vision, maybe Wonder Man, depending on how that goes. That sort of family of Wanda will discover that she's with Doctor Doom, and they will be sort of the voice of reason to try to get Wanda to stop doing whatever she's doing with Doctor Doom. And what is she doing with Doctor Doom? Well, I think this is becoming more and more clear due to some things that we are learning about the Spider-Man 4 plot. In the comics, Wanda Maximoff, after the House of M, goes to Doctor Doom so that together they can discover how to use the Life Force or the Enigma Force to alter reality, to basically undo all of the bad things that Wanda did during House of M. And we've got some new leaks about Spider-Man 4, which indicate that during Doomsday, Peter Parker is going to be given an offer by RDJ Doctor Doom to get his old life back, to undo a lot of the crazy damage that has happened to him personally. And when it comes to Peter Parker, that all has to do with Stephen Strange's spell. Remember that Peter Parker makes the decision to continue being Spider-Man, even though nobody knows who Peter Parker is, and he lost all of his friends. He lost Aunt May. He lost the city knowing who he is. He's a complete and total stranger, completely isolated, and it's because of mistakes he made with trying to fix reality via magic with Doctor Strange. And current rumors suggest that Peter will be given a new life and a new universe, one in which he's not going to be Spider-Man anymore, but he will have MJ back. He will have Ned back. He will even have Marissa Tomei back. And so if that is true, it seems like Wanda would also want something like that. She will want to undo all of the damage that she did, all of the horrible things that she did, and have a new universe, maybe one in which she can just be with her family. It seems like that's kind of always what she wanted. So I basically think you're going to get a show which establishes Tommy Maximoff as Speed and him together with Billy, and I think that plot might actually become a point in the Doomsday film, and it'll be kind of like Wanda's family trying to tell her that we can't keep doing this. We can't keep changing reality to try to make up for our mistakes. Sometimes you just got to live with your mistakes. I also think there's a lot of potential for these characters to be involved with what happens after Doomsday. So right now the rumors are that after Doomsday, it will essentially be the mutant saga. The big focus will be on the mutants. But we also know there's massive supernatural stuff happening. There's apparently going to be the Blade movie, the Midnight Suns movie, and a solo Scarlet Witch film. And I think this whole idea will spin out of Doomsday and Secret Wars, and the whole world will recognize magic as a much bigger threat than they thought before. This might even be why the Midnight Suns form, and I would be really interested to see how this mutant thing will combine with the magic thing, with Wanda Maximoff and her children. Overall, I thought the Agatha show was better than I expected it to be. There are hit and miss episodes, and a lot of it does still feel a little unfulfilled. I actually thought the finale was kind of weak, like episode 9. Episode 8, though, was really cool. I love the idea that Billy is so freaking powerful, but I honestly just would have thrown Wanda into this thing. But again, it kind of makes sense if they're saving her for some Doctor Doom stuff, that they're going to sort of assemble her family first and then have that family come into conflict with Wanda as she is trying to help RDJ's Doctor Doom. I think the future is bright for the Maximoff family in the MCU. I think the future is bright for magic within the MCU, and I'm really interested to see how any of this might relate to Doctor Doom, to Wanda, to consequences, to magic, to reshaping reality, and all the craziness that we're about to get in the next couple of years. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section below, and as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.